Chosen one, can you feel the tremor of heaven in your spirit today? The one enthroned in heaven has turned his gaze upon you, and what you did, yes, that quiet act of faith, caused a laugh to erupt across the throne room of eternity. Psalm 2:4. It wasn't a laugh of ridicule. It was a laugh of delight, of holy victory, the kind that makes the enemy shiver in confusion. You stepped forward when everyone else stayed back. You released that which weighed you down. You forgave when your heart still burned with pain. You obeyed silently when the world could not see, and in that obedience a chain snapped somewhere in the spirit realm. Angels lifted their wings higher. Trumpets sounded in celebration. The courtroom of heaven, where judgments are weighed and victories are recorded, erupted with applause. Chosen one, the Father's heart is full, and his laughter is a declaration, the work of your hands, the purity of your step, the courage of your spirit, has shifted the course of events in ways that cannot yet be measured in the natural. Today, your faith disrupted the enemy's strategy, and heaven is rejoicing because of you. Every step you took today was a checkmate in God's eternal game. Imagine a celestial chessboard, each move representing choices, acts of obedience, and moments of trust. Some moves seemed small, insignificant, almost invisible, yet God was watching every placement. Your yes in a quiet moment became the last move that crowned victory over schemes that sought to trap you. Storms that raged in your life, doubts, fears, toxic relationships, unfinished business, stilled the moment you aligned with his will. The enemy had counted on your hesitation, but your courage forced a divine reversal. Psalm 2:4 declares it, "The one enthroned in heaven laughs. The Lord scoffs at them." That laughter is not distant, it is personal. It echoes in the chambers of your heart, reverberates in your mind, and vibrates in unseen realms where angelic armies celebrate. Chains that bound your peace began to dissolve, shining in the light of God's approval. Today, your faith has created a ripple, and tomorrow will carry the echo of your obedience. This is more than a victory. It is a signal that God's plan cannot be delayed, thwarted, or interrupted. Chosen one, do you remember the moment when the world said wait, but your spirit said go? That moment was sacred. The Father's eyes were upon you, observing your courage when uncertainty loomed. It was a test of trust, a challenge designed to see if you would move forward even when nothing made sense. And you did. Today, your decision to move in faith, to speak truth in love, or to release bitterness has shaken spiritual realms. Angels rejoiced as chains dissolved in streams of radiant light. Darkness, which had anticipated your hesitation, was confounded. Romans 8:28 whispers to you now, all things work together for good to those who love God. Even the confusion, the pain, the waiting has been folded into a pattern of triumph. Your obedience wasn't just a momentary act. It was a declaration of God's supremacy over every plot designed to diminish your joy. The laughter of God that follows your faith is a sound that confounds your enemies, delights your spirit, and validates the courage you displayed. Every small step of faith today has altered your tomorrow. There is a courtroom in heaven where every act of righteousness is noticed and recorded. Today your name was called. The verdict was read, and the halls shook with rejoicing. Imagine the angels raising their wings in synchronized celebration, a divine orchestra of praise erupting in approval. Your obedience, though unseen by many, has created waves in the spirit that cannot be ignored. Chains that bound hope, peace, and purpose have dissolved. Every prayer uttered in silence, every act of forgiveness, every courageous decision was a pebble tossed into eternity, creating ripples of triumph. 1 Samuel 2:1 cries out, "My heart rejoices in the Lord. In the Lord my horn is lifted high. Today, chosen one, your horn is lifted high in heaven." God laughs, not in mockery, but in victory, because you chose faith when the world whispered fear. The storm that surrounded you, the anxiety, the delay, the uncertainty, stopped in its tracks at the sound of your obedience. The enemy had plotted confusion, but heaven's laughter has disrupted every strategy aimed at keeping you small. Your faith today was more than a choice. It was a catalyst for divine joy. The simple act of letting go of what was toxic, of walking away from old patterns, or of speaking life where bitterness lingered, has caused celebrations in realms you cannot see. God's laughter, radiant and victorious, shakes the heavens. Imagine trumpets sounding in unison, illuminating the darkness of despair with light that cannot be resisted. Psalm 2:4 reminds us that God's laughter is a response to defiance in the enemy camp. But for the chosen one, it is the sound of approval, a signal that heaven is aligned with your steps. The storm in your heart, the questions, the anxieties, the fears, were all silenced by your obedience. Even when silence seemed deafening, your faith spoke volumes. Angels danced as chains of limitation dissolved. Today, your small act of courage was actually a seismic shift in the spiritual realm. You confused the enemy, brought delight to the Father's heart, and aligned your life with his victorious plan. Chosen one, there is power in the quiet yes whispered in obedience. The world measures victory in noise, applause, and recognition, but God sees the invisible acts that matter most. Your silent prayers, your discreet acts of love, your courage to obey without fanfare, these are the notes that compose a melody of triumph in heaven. Romans 8:28 assures you that even when it seems like nothing is happening, all things work together for your good. That quiet obedience today has shifted what seemed immovable. Imagine a chessboard of life, every piece moved by God, waiting for the perfect moment. Today, your step was that final decisive move. The enemy did not see it coming. Darkness anticipated fear. But your faith became the unexpected checkmate. Your obedience was the spark that ignited a chain reaction in the spirit realm. Heaven laughed, not because the situation was amusing, but because your courage was the fulfillment of prophecy, the proof that God's plan cannot be thwarted by hesitation, doubt, or opposition. Do you feel it, chosen one? That lightness in your spirit, that bubbling joy that seems almost too big for your chest. That is the sound of heaven celebrating you. 1 Samuel 2:1 reminds us that God lifts our horn high when our hearts rejoice in him. Today, your act of obedience, whether it was forgiving when it hurt, stepping away from toxicity, or saying yes when it made no sense, has lifted your horn in the heavens. Chains dissolve, storms still, and angels dance at the foot of your decision. Every move you made today has disrupted the enemy's plans and caused delight in the Father's heart. Your faith, your courage, your willingness to trust even when nothing seemed clear has altered the course of your life and the lives of those around you. Heaven laughs because your obedience confirmed what God had always promised. Victory belongs to those who trust him, even in silence. Today, your faith was your weapon, your choice was your victory, and your life has become a testimony of divine delight. Consider the storm that has been raging over your life. Anxiety, fear, confusion, disappointment. Today, that storm did not resist your yes. When you spoke obedience, released resentment, or forgave, the winds calmed instantly. The waves that once threatened to overwhelm you bowed in recognition of God's plan. Psalm 2:4 reminds us that God laughs at the futile strategies of darkness, and today that laughter is personal. Chosen one, it is directed at you in triumph. The enemy had expected hesitation, resistance, and doubt. Instead, your courage became a beacon, your obedience became a signal to heaven, and chains dissolved into light. Angels rejoiced, trumpets sounded, and the courtroom of heaven erupted with applause. Your small act of faith was actually a monumental victory. Today, you shifted the spiritual balance, disrupted darkness, and brought joy to the heart of God. The Father's laughter is the sound of finality, the sound of victory, the sound of confirmation. The battle is already won. Your obedience today was a seed planted in the soil of eternity. Though it may have seemed small or insignificant, its effects are eternal. Every act of faith, every release of bitterness, every step toward trust has created ripples that extend far beyond what you can see. Romans 8:28 confirms that all things, even the painful, confusing, or challenging, work together for your good. Today, chosen one, your yes to God disrupted the plans of darkness and invited divine joy into your life. Angels danced as chains dissolved. Heaven's courtroom erupted in celebration. Trumpets sounded in realms unseen. God's laughter echoed like thunder, not mockery but victory. You have passed the test of faith in a way that causes joy in the Father's heart. Darkness expected hesitation, but your courage produced triumph. Your life, your choices, and your obedience have created a spiritual seismic shift, and the victory that followed is permanent. Heaven has celebrated your faithfulness, and the enemy is left confounded. Chosen one, hear this. What you did today was noticed. What you released, forgave, or obeyed in silence did not go unseen. Heaven recorded it as triumph, angels danced, and chains of limitation dissolved. Psalm 2:4 declares, "The one enthroned in heaven laughs. The Lord scoffs at them." And today, that laughter is a sound of victory tailored just for you. Your obedience caused confusion in the enemy camp, joy in the Father's heart, and a shift in the spiritual realms. Storms stilled at the whisper of your yes. A chessboard of life fell into God's perfect order. Today, small actions created eternal impact. 1 Samuel 2:1 reminds you, your heart rejoices, your horn is lifted high, and your life is now a testimony of divine triumph. The Father celebrates you, chosen one. The enemy recoils, angels rejoice, chains dissolve, and the laughter of heaven echoes through eternity. Victory is yours. Chosen one, the battle that seemed invisible to human eyes was waged today, and you emerged victorious. Every word spoken in obedience, every silent act of faith, every decision to walk in righteousness became a spark in the heavens. Angels moved in perfect alignment, trumpets sounded, and the enemy's plans crumbled. Psalm 2:4 reminds us that God laughs at the schemes of the wicked, and today that laughter resounded because of you. Even the smallest acts of courage have consequences in eternity. When you released bitterness or forgave when it hurt, you became a force the enemy could not anticipate. Heaven noticed the tremor of your obedience. The storm that once threatened to overwhelm you paused at your whisper of yes. Every chain that bound your peace or purpose dissolved in radiant light. Chosen one, the Father's laughter is not distant. It is personal, deliberate, and victorious. Your faith today disrupted the enemy's calculations, elevated your destiny, and caused the heavens to erupt in divine celebration. The ripple of what you did today will be felt in eternity, because even the smallest act, aligned with God's will, carries monumental power. Do you feel the joy rising in your spirit, chosen one? That joy is a direct reflection of heaven's delight. Today, by stepping into courage, you caused a divine reversal in realms unseen. Your obedience is the music that echoes in the courts of heaven. Every storm you faced, every fear, every doubt, every hesitation was silenced by your willingness to trust God's timing. Romans 8:28 reassures you that all things work together for your good, and today your choices proved that promise alive and active. Angels danced at the sight of your faith, lifting wings of praise, as chains of limitation shattered and light flooded the darkness. The Father's laughter erupted in victorious celebration because your actions confirmed his plan. The chessboard of life tilted in your favor, the enemy was confounded, and the spiritual landscape shifted. Chosen one, today was a turning point. Every small act of obedience, every courageous step, every whispered prayer has contributed to a spiritual breakthrough. Your life has now become a testimony of divine intervention, a living proof that when you trust God, even in silence, heaven celebrates with holy laughter. Chosen one, remember the moment when fear and doubt pressed in, whispering lies about what you could not do, what you should not risk, what might fail. That moment was your battlefield, and your faith became your sword. When you chose obedience over fear, forgiveness over resentment, courage over hesitation, heaven erupted with joy. Psalm 2:4 describes the Lord laughing at the plans of the wicked, and today that laughter became your victory anthem. Every step you took in faith disrupted darkness, confused the enemy, and elevated your destiny. Angels released chains that had bound hope and purpose, filling the atmosphere with celebration. The storm around you stilled at your whispered yes. Today, God's laughter is a declaration of approval, a proclamation that your faithfulness has moved mountains in the spirit realm. The ripple effect of your choices is monumental, influencing generations, changing circumstances, and bringing radiant peace. Chosen one, your obedience has been noticed, celebrated, and rewarded in ways that surpass understanding. Every action today was not small. It was the alignment of your heart with heaven's eternal plan, resulting in the victorious laughter of God. There is a courtroom in heaven where every act of faith, forgiveness, and obedience is recorded. Chosen one, today your actions cause the angels to rise in synchronized celebration, trumpets blaring, chains dissolving, and storms halting. 1 Samuel 2:1 declares, "My heart rejoices in the Lord. In the Lord my horn is lifted high." And today that verse was written in your life. Even the smallest step you took shifted the spiritual balance, disrupted darkness, and brought joy to the Father's heart. Your courage in silence, your choice to trust when nothing made sense, your willingness to obey against fear, all of it caused heaven to erupt in victory. The enemy had anticipated hesitation, but your faith created confusion in the camp of darkness. The laughter of God that follows your obedience is a sound of triumph, a declaration that the battle is already won. Angels rejoice because chains dissolved in light. The chessboard of life is perfectly aligned. Today, every action you took created a ripple effect in eternity. Heaven celebrated your boldness, the enemy recoiled, and the Spirit of God lifted your life into a place of divine favor. Chosen one, your faith today was a catalyst for victory, and heaven has rejoiced. Even the quietest acts, forgiving someone who hurt you, releasing what no longer serves, saying yes in obedience when it was unseen, caused a ripple of triumph in the spiritual realm. Psalm 2:4 reminds us that God laughs at the schemes of darkness, and today that laughter was personal because of your actions. The storm around you ceased instantly when you chose faith over fear. Angels danced as chains of limitation dissolved in streams of light. The courtroom of heaven erupted with applause, trumpets sounding in unseen realms. Romans 8:28 confirms that all things work together for your good, and today your choices became proof of that promise. Chosen one, your obedience disrupted the enemy's plans, elevated your destiny, and caused joy in the Father's heart. This is more than a moment. It is a turning point. Every step of courage today has shifted what seemed immovable, and your faithfulness has set into motion a spiritual breakthrough that will continue to echo throughout eternity. Do you feel the celebration, chosen one? That bubbling joy inside you is the reflection of heaven rejoicing over your faithfulness. Your decision to act in obedience today has shifted spiritual landscapes, disrupted darkness, and caused divine laughter to resonate across eternity. 1 Samuel 2:1 declares, "My heart rejoices in the Lord. In the Lord my horn is lifted high." And today that verse was fulfilled in your life. Storms that once threatened your peace bowed at your whispered yes. The enemy anticipated fear, hesitation, and compromise, but your courage caused confusion in their camp. Angels danced as chains dissolved in light, and trumpets sounded a victorious proclamation over your life. Romans 8:28 reassures you that all things work together for your good, and today your actions became living proof. Chosen one, your obedience has created ripples that extend beyond what you can see. Even the smallest step taken in faith today has eternal implications. Your life has become a testimony of God's power. Your faith has been validated, and heaven has celebrated your victory with laughter that echoes through eternity. Chosen one, today you face tests designed to measure your trust, patience, and courage. The world may not have noticed, but heaven was watching. Every moment you chose faith over fear, forgiveness over resentment, and obedience over doubt. Angels cheered, chains dissolved, and darkness recoiled. Psalm 2:4 says, "The Lord laughs at the plans of the wicked." And today, that laughter was personal because of your decisions. Even the smallest act of faith has monumental impact in the spiritual realm. Your whispered yes stilled the storms, disrupted the enemy, and caused joy in the heart of God. The chessboard of life shifted, aligning perfectly with God's eternal plan. Angels celebrated your courage as the courtroom of heaven erupted in applause. Trumpets sounded, and the atmosphere filled with divine victory. Romans 8:28 assures you that all things work together for your good. And today, your obedience has become a living testament to that truth. Chosen one, heaven rejoices, the enemy recoils, and your life has been elevated into a place of triumph. Do you feel the lightness, chosen one? That is the joy of heaven rejoicing over you. Every step of faith, every act of obedience, every courageous choice has caused divine laughter to resound. Angels danced, chains dissolved, and storms stilled at the power of your faith. 1 Samuel 2:1 proclaims that hearts rejoice in the Lord, and horns are lifted high. Today, that is your reality. The enemy anticipated fear and hesitation, but your courage caused confusion in their camp. Your obedience disrupted darkness, elevated your destiny, and aligned your life with God's victorious plan. Psalm 2:4 reminds us that the Lord laughs at the plans of the wicked, and today that laughter is a sound of victory tailored to your actions. Romans 8:28 confirms that all things work together for your good, and your faith has validated that promise. Chosen one, your obedience today is more than a moment. It is a spiritual breakthrough, a testimony of divine triumph, and a reason for heaven to erupt in celebration. Heaven noticed, chosen one. Every act of faith today, forgiving when it hurt, releasing what was toxic, obeying when no one was watching, created a ripple in eternity. Angels lifted their wings, trumpets sounded, and the courtroom of heaven erupted in applause. Psalm 2:4 declares that God laughs at the schemes of darkness, and today that laughter resounded because of you. The storm that threatened your peace and progress bowed at the whisper of your yes. Every chain that bound your joy dissolved in streams of radiant light. Romans 8:28 reminds you that all things work together for good, and your actions today are proof of that promise. The chessboard of life shifted in your favor. Confusion entered the enemy camp, and your obedience caused divine delight. Chosen one, today is a milestone. The Father rejoices, angels dance, and your life has been elevated into a place of victory. What seemed small in the natural was monumental in heaven, and your faithfulness has been celebrated with holy laughter. Chosen one, hear this. Today your obedience caused heaven to laugh in victory. Every step you took in faith, every act of courage, every moment of silent surrender has created seismic shifts in the spiritual realm. Chains dissolved, storms stilled, and angels rejoiced. Psalm 2:4 reminds us, the one enthroned in heaven laughs. The Lord scoffs at them, and today that laughter is a sound of personal celebration over you. Romans 8:28 assures you that all things work together for your good, and today your obedience has confirmed that promise. The courtroom of heaven erupted with applause. Trumpets sounded in realms unseen, and your horn was lifted high. 1 Samuel 2:1. The enemy anticipated hesitation, but your courage disrupted their plans. Your life has now become a living testimony of divine triumph. Chosen one, what you did today was monumental. Heaven celebrated. Darkness was confounded. The Father's laughter declared victory. The battle is won, and your faithfulness has ensured a ripple of triumph that will extend for generations. Chosen one, do you realize what just happened today? Your obedience has caused a divine earthquake in the heavens. Every silent prayer, every whispered yes, every courageous decision created a ripple that cannot be measured by human standards. Angels lifted their wings in synchronized praise, and the courtroom of heaven erupted with applause. Chains that bound your destiny dissolved in streams of radiant light, and storms that once threatened your peace bowed instantly at the sound of your faith. Psalm 2:4 declares, the one enthroned in heaven laughs. The Lord scoffs at them, and today that laughter resounded because of you. Romans 8:28 assures you that all things work together for good, and your actions today are living proof of that promise. The chessboard of life, carefully arranged by God, shifted with your faith as the decisive move. Darkness tried to anticipate hesitation, but your obedience became the unexpected victory, confusing the enemy and delighting the Father. Chosen one, today your life became a testimony of divine joy, heavenly celebration, and spiritual triumph. Even the smallest step in faith today had eternal impact. Chosen one, heaven is rejoicing because you did what many feared to do. You released toxicity, forgave the unforgivable, obeyed God in silence, and trusted when nothing made sense. Each act caused the enemy to stumble, confusion to reign in their camp, and divine laughter to echo in the heavens. 1 Samuel 2:1 declares, my heart rejoices in the Lord. In the Lord my horn is lifted high, and today your horn was lifted in heavenly celebration. Angels danced as chains of limitation melted into light. The storm that once raged over your life obeyed the authority of your faith. Even the smallest act of courage today has created ripples in eternity. Romans 8:28 reminds you that all things, even the challenges, work together for your good. Your obedience today was not unnoticed, it was monumental. The Father's laughter over your faithfulness is the sound of victory the sound of approval, the sound of confirmation that your life is aligned with heaven's plan. Today, chosen one, heaven celebrated, darkness recoiled, and your destiny shifted forever. Do you hear it, chosen one? That divine laughter that shakes the foundations of darkness, the kind that echoes across eternity. It's for you. Psalm 2:4 reminds us that God laughs at the schemes of the wicked, and today that laughter was a declaration of victory in your favor. Every act of faith, every courageous step, every moment of silent obedience disrupted the enemy's plan. Chains dissolved, storms stilled, and angels danced. The chessboard of life moved perfectly under God's hand, and your choices became the decisive moves of triumph. Romans 8:28 assures us that all things work together for good, and your obedience today proves that. The courtroom of heaven erupted with applause. Trumpets sounded in realms unseen, and the Father's heart rejoiced. Chosen one, even when you felt unseen, your faith was monumental. Every small act of courage today has created eternal ripples, transforming your destiny and causing joy in heaven that cannot be contained. The battle is won, and the laughter of God confirms it. Chosen one, the enemy expected hesitation, doubt, and fear, but you acted with courage. Your faith disrupted darkness and caused the heavens to erupt in joy. Angels raised their wings in praise, chains dissolved in radiant light, and the storm that threatened your peace bowed instantly. Psalm 2:4 declares that the one enthroned in heaven laughs at the enemy, and today that laughter is your victory anthem. Romans 8:28 reminds you that all things work together for good, and your obedience today is proof of that promise. Even the smallest act, a word of forgiveness, a step of faith, a release of the past, had monumental consequences. Heaven celebrated your courage. The chessboard of life shifted perfectly with your obedience as the final victorious move. Chosen one, your life is now aligned with heaven's eternal plan. The laughter of God, the rejoicing of angels, and the dissolving of chains all testify that your faithfulness today caused a ripple in eternity, creating a spiritual breakthrough that will be remembered in the courts of heaven forever. Today, chosen one, heaven is dancing because you said yes. Every act of obedience, no matter how quiet, small or unseen, became a catalyst for divine joy. Chains that bound your peace and destiny melted into light. Storms that threatened to overwhelm bowed at the sound of your faith. Psalm 2:4 tells us that the Lord laughs at the schemes of the wicked, and today that laughter was personalized over you. Romans 8:28 confirms that all things, even the trials, work together for your good. Your obedience today disrupted the enemy, elevated your destiny, and brought joy to the Father's heart. The angels celebrated as the chessboard of life tilted in your favor. The courtroom of heaven erupted in applause. Trumpets sounded, and your horn was lifted high. 1 Samuel 2:1. Chosen one, your faith today was not small, it was monumental. Heaven rejoiced, darkness recoiled. Your life became a testimony of victory, and the ripple of today's obedience will echo for generations. Chosen one, remember the moment you chose faith over fear. That moment was your victory. The storm surrounding you stilled, chains dissolved, angels rejoiced. Psalm 2:4 declares the Lord's laughter at the plans of darkness, and today that laughter was directed at the victory you achieved. Romans 8:28 assures you that all things work together for good, and your obedience today confirms that truth. Every act of courage, forgiveness, and obedience caused heaven to erupt in celebration. Even the smallest step you took had monumental consequences in the spiritual realm. The chessboard of life shifted, the enemy recoiled, and your horn was lifted high. 1 Samuel 2:1. Chosen one, today heaven celebrated your faithfulness. The laughter of God confirms your victory. The storm obeyed your yes. Chains dissolved in radiant light. The enemy's plans were confounded, and your life has entered a place of spiritual triumph. Do you hear it, chosen one? That sound of victory that echoes across eternity. It is the laughter of God, resonating because of your faith. Psalm 2:4 says the Lord laughs at the enemy, and today that laughter is personal, directed at your obedience. Chains dissolved, angels rejoiced, storms stilled. Romans 8:28 reminds you that all things work together for good, and your obedience today proves it. Even the smallest act, forgiving someone, stepping away from toxicity, or saying yes to God's plan, had eternal impact. Heaven's courtroom erupted in applause. The chessboard of life tilted in your favor. Darkness recoiled. Your faith created a ripple in eternity, aligning your destiny with God's plan. Chosen one, today is a milestone. Your horn is lifted high, 1 Samuel 2:1. Heaven celebrated. The enemy trembled. The laughter of God confirmed that victory is yours, and your obedience has left an eternal imprint in the spirit realm. Chosen one, today your faithfulness disrupted darkness, elevated your destiny, and caused divine celebration. Angels lifted their wings in unison, chains dissolved into radiant light, and storms stilled at the whisper of your obedience. Psalm 2:4 reminds us that God laughs at the plans of the enemy, and today that laughter was your victory anthem. Romans 8:28 assures that all things work together for your good, and your obedience today is proof. Even the smallest act of courage, forgiveness, or faith had monumental spiritual impact. The chessboard of life shifted perfectly with your choices as decisive moves. The courtroom of heaven erupted in applause. Trumpets sounded in unseen realms, and the Father's heart rejoiced. Chosen one, today is a turning point. Your faithfulness has created ripples that will echo through eternity. Heaven celebrated your courage. Darkness recoiled. Victory has been secured. Do you see it, chosen one? The storm has calmed, the chains have dissolved, and angels rejoice. Psalm 2:4 declares, the one enthroned in heaven laughs. The Lord scoffs at them, and today that laughter resounds because of your faith. Romans 8:28 assures that all things work together for your good, and your obedience today validates that promise. Every act of courage, every whisper of yes, every release of bitterness created a ripple in eternity. The chessboard of life shifted in your favor, confounding the enemy. 1 Samuel 2:1 proclaims that your horn is lifted high, and today it was. Chosen one, heaven has erupted in celebration. Divine laughter echoes through the spiritual realms. Your obedience disrupted darkness, elevated your destiny, and caused the Father's heart to rejoice. The ripple effect of your faith will extend far beyond what you can see. Today is your victory day. Chosen one, hear this clearly. What you did today made God laugh in victory. Every step of obedience, every act of faith, every moment of courageous surrender has caused heaven to erupt in celebration. Angels danced, chains dissolved in light, storms bowed at your whispered yes. Psalm 2:4 reminds us that the Lord laughs at the schemes of the enemy, and today that laughter is personalized over you. Romans 8:28 confirms that all things work together for good, and your obedience today proves it. 1 Samuel 2:1 proclaims that your horn is lifted high. The chessboard of life has shifted. The enemy recoiled. Heaven celebrated. Your small acts of faith today were monumental in the spirit. Chosen one, the laughter of God confirms that victory is yours. Your obedience has created eternal ripples, and your life is now aligned with divine triumph. Heaven rejoices because the battle is already won. Chosen one, the victory you secured today is more than personal. It is eternal. Every step of obedience, every moment of faith, and every act of courage has shifted spiritual landscapes. Psalm 2:4 declares that God laughs at the schemes of the enemy, and today that laughter echoed triumphantly because of you. Angels rejoiced, chains dissolved, and storms that once threatened your life bowed to your whispered yes. Romans 8:28 assures that all things work together for good, and your obedience today is proof of that promise. The chessboard of life tilted in your favor. The enemy anticipated hesitation, doubt, and fear, but your faith disrupted every plan and caused divine laughter to resound in the heavens. Chosen one, your horn is lifted high. 1 Samuel 2:1. Your actions today were monumental in the spiritual realm, even if unseen in the natural. Today, heaven celebrated your obedience. The battle was won before it began, but your courage confirmed it. Your faithfulness is now a testimony that will echo through eternity, a living proof that when you trust God, He laughs in joy because of your victory. Do you feel the joy, chosen one? That bubbling, uncontainable delight is the laughter of heaven rejoicing over you. Every act of forgiveness, every step of faith, every quiet obedience disrupted darkness and caused angels to dance. Chains that bound your peace and purpose dissolved in radiant light. Psalm 2:4 reminds us that the Lord laughs at the enemy, and today that laughter was a sound of personal triumph. Romans 8:28 confirms that all things work together for good, and your choices today are living proof of that promise. The chessboard of life shifted perfectly in alignment with God's plan. The enemy's schemes faltered, confusion reigned, and victory became certain. Chosen one, your horn is lifted high. 1 Samuel 2:1. Heaven celebrated, darkness recoiled, and the ripple effect of your obedience will continue to bless generations. What seemed small in the natural was monumental in the spirit. Today, your faith became a catalyst for divine laughter, heavenly celebration, and spiritual triumph, securing a victory that cannot be undone. Chosen one. Today, heaven erupted with applause because of your faithfulness. Every act of courage, every silent yes, every step of obedience caused divine joy to overflow. Angels lifted their wings, trumpets sounded, and chains dissolved in radiant light. The storm that once threatened your peace obeyed your whisper of yes. Psalm 2:4 declares that God laughs at the schemes of darkness, and today that laughter resounded because of your victory. Romans 8:28 confirms that all things work together for good, and your obedience today validated that promise. Even the smallest act of faith created ripples in eternity. The chessboard of life shifted in favor of your destiny. The enemy recoiled, heaven celebrated, and your horn was lifted high. 1 Samuel 2:1. Chosen one, this is more than a moment. It is a divine turning point. The Father rejoices, angels dance, chains dissolve, and the laughter of God confirms that victory is yours. Today, the spiritual realms have witnessed your triumph, and heaven's celebration will continue long after this moment. Chosen one, take a deep breath and hear the sound of heaven laughing in victory over you. Every act of faith, forgiveness, and obedience caused a ripple in eternity. Storms stilled, chains dissolved, and angels rejoiced as the chessboard of life tilted perfectly in your favor. Psalm 2:4 reminds us that the Lord laughs at the plans of the enemy, and today that laughter was a declaration of your triumph. Romans 8:28 assures you that all things work together for your good, and your obedience today proves that promise true. The enemy anticipated hesitation, fear, and compromise, but your courage disrupted their plans. Heaven celebrated with trumpets, the courtroom of eternity erupted in applause, and your horn was lifted high. 1 Samuel 2:1. Chosen one, what seemed small in the natural was monumental in the spirit. Today your faith has altered the course of your life, confused the enemy, and caused joy in the Father's heart. This is more than victory. It is a divine declaration that heaven rejoices because you trusted God. Chosen one, let us pray together. Father, we thank you for the boldness, obedience, and faithfulness you have seen today. We celebrate the victory, the divine laughter, the breaking of chains, and the stilled storms. Let your joy continue to overflow in the lives of your chosen ones. May every act of courage and every step of obedience echo in eternity, disrupting darkness and causing your delight to resound. Lift every horn high, fill every heart with praise, and let your laughter of victory remind your children that the battle is already won. Lord, confirm their faith, strengthen their resolve, and let the ripple of today's obedience bring generational blessing. Chosen one, if this message stirred your spirit, type Amen in the comments. Heaven is laughing with you. The battle is won. Celebrate your victory, embrace your triumph, and step forward in faith, for God's joy is your eternal inheritance.